Okay guys, so I wanted to just start off freshly groomed today for you guys. So I'm going to touch on some boxing mechanics and some basic punching and some basic footwork. So first things first is obviously your hands are always up and your chin is slightly tucked in, okay? So you're here in this position rather than that position with people sticking their bum out and their chin up in the air. So your chin's tucked in and your tailbone's tucked in ever so slightly. In Thai boxing, they do it in a bit more of an exaggerated way, but in this case, with just a slight tuck under your hips, so your hips are underneath you, and that makes it a little bit easier for you to tuck your chin in, okay? So we're gonna be here, the back heel is up, and the chin is down, and our hands are up, okay? Nice and high. The lead hand is in front of the rear hand. We're not doing this. Lead hand is in front of the rear hand, and that's used. Unless we close the distance down, then we might need to tighten up a little bit. But generally, the lead hand is in front of the rear hand, and this is really important detail to make sure, because it makes your left hand, the closest weapon to your opponent, closer to its target as well. So our hands are up and our chin is down, and our footwork is just going to be skipping initially, so bouncing, okay? So we're here like so, okay? I'll turn my front knee in a little bit here, a little bit more of a classical boxing stance. That actually makes it a little bit easier to block a groin kick, but it does make you more susceptible to a round kick, okay? And it opens up the side kick a little bit more from me. But we're just going to keep concentrate on the boxing for now. So we are here like so, and we're going to bounce, okay? And now what I'm going to do is, as I push off the back foot, I'm going to step with the lead hand and I'm going to throw my jab, okay? I'm going to step with the lead foot and throw my jab. So I'm pushing off the back foot, okay? The shoulder comes up to protect my jaw as I extend that, okay? So that's why my chin needs to be down. If my chin's up, even if I raise my shoulder, it's not going to touch. My chin is down, and I'm going to drive that in. Whoop. So you can have your hand here, or you can have your hand in front. You can have your hand right on the side, but I prefer to have it just on the edge of my mouth here, the rear hand. And the power is coming actually from your back foot. You're not really trying to punch from your arm so much, but it's the power of that back foot. George St. Pierre does this really well, steps in heavy with that lead foot, and then really pushes off that back calf, okay? So that's the basic fundamentals of your jab, okay? Turning the fist over, elbow is down, so I don't do this 1, 2, because your opponent will see it, okay? So a lot of guys do this, 1, 2, okay? Keep the elbow down until the last moment. Shoulder is behind the punch and in front of the button, as my old instructor used to say. Behind the punch and in front of the button. So the shoulder, it actually protracts up on my rib cage to protect my jaw, and it actually locks out my shoulder girdle very effectively. So you'll see some of the old pros that throw a really good shot of Ali used to do this a lot, just turning that shoulder blade over, and that adds power, but it also protects your jaw while the lead hand is punching. And make sure the punch comes back as quick as it goes out, okay? So bang, hop, hop, hop. Okay, footwork. So using your feet to do the punching, not just your hands, okay? So we're just gonna go down round onto the next punch, which is the cross, okay? So the cross, generally I'm resting my arm on my rib cage, so I bring my shoulder blades forward and I rest my arms on my rib cage like this, okay? Now the cross is coming in very similar. Elbow stays down, but this time my back foot is turning. So the jab, I was pushing off the back foot like a propelling forward, okay, but this is crossing the midline, so it's turning the back foot across, and my punch goes across the midline, hence it's called a cross, okay? So bang, okay? And now you'll see my lead hand will naturally draw back, okay? Will naturally draw back, and it's the same thing. My shoulder rides up, so my shoulder is behind the punch and in front of the button. Behind the punch and in front of the button, okay? So it's not a cross like my opponent's got two heads. It's a cross, but just across the midline. Whoop. Again, same thing. I'm propelling it forward and then drawing it back as quick as it goes up. Okay. Whoop. 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 And turning that back foot so you're locking out your pelvis, and the mechanics and the power is literally coming from your hips, not coming from your arm. I'm not punching like this, you get exhausted really, really quickly. Okay, whoop, whoop. We're locking this out. Okay, so the power is literally coming from our core. And this is the same if you're hitting a forehand, if you're throwing a ball, if you're throwing a javelin, if you're even throwing your opponent. Okay, when you're coming in this way to kind of some of the judo type throws that we're doing, very, very important, this ability to pivot. And that's the same with an elbow. And guess what, even if I wanted to do a headbutt, that's actually the mechanics that you use for a headbutt. So if you've got collar and sleeve grip, okay, and we can headbutt like so. So turning that over like this. So the right hand left hook extends into elbows. The mechanics of the right hand and the left hook extends into elbows and extends into headbutts as well. Okay, so there you go. Jab, jab, cross, cross, cross. Turning that hip over. Whoop. Okay, and now I'm doing it with bounce. Okay. Using that breath, pelvis underneath you, turning that back foot, and you're trying to keep your feet equidistant. So when I step, my back foot follows. When I step, my back foot follows, so my cross lands. So don't do this and leave the back foot behind, because then you haven't got a cross. Okay? So whoop. You're trying to keep those feet level. Okay? So play around with that. A few minutes at a time, getting the mirror, getting that lined up alignment. Don't raise the elbow up. Shoulder behind the punch and in front of the button as your arms extended. You're side on and you're bringing it back. Side on and bringing it back. And it's the same with the cross. Play around with that, a few rounds of that in the mirror, getting the mechanics right, and then using this bounce, and try and play with that with 3-minute rounds. And then we'll go on to advancing that a little bit further. Okay, so you can play with the jab, cross, get the footwork right. Tomorrow we'll go into hook with the left hook, and then we'll put them together. Okay, so it'll be jab, cross, and then getting the left hook, because they actually all feed each other. And then we're going to progress into other elements of that. So as I discussed, the elbows and the headbutts that we were going to cover in the workshop. So yeah, let me know how you guys get on, and we'll go from there.